Butker trying to line this up. Winchester will snap it. Colquitt will hold it. 20-20 tie. High snap, pulled down. Butker's kick is up. It is right down the boulevard. It's good. And the Chiefs take a 23-20 lead with 4 seconds left in regulation. And Harrison Butker kicks some. You know what? Welcome to the Chiefs Kingdom.
How's it going, Chiefs Kingdom? You're listening to the Arrowheads Abroad podcast with myself, Brad Simcox, and joining me is the bestest... Dave, do I really have to do this? Do I really have to read this?
Read what?
The bestest, greatest king of everything in the whole world, including Arrowheads Abroad, Dave Barnett, and the Arrowhead Pride T-Boy, Tom Childs. How are we doing, boys?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much spot on.
Yeah? Did I read that right?
Yeah, no, he nailed it.
So that's the intro you want from now on?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Those guys don't even trust me to make tea.
What, Arrowhead Pride?
Yeah.
Where you could put milk in it?
Yeah.
Puts the milk in first.
What are you doing, man?
No. I'm not a heathen, Dave. Christ. No. If I see you put milk in first whilst you're making me a brew, yeah, that's going straight down the drain after.
Yeah,
I know, right?
End it there. End it now.
To be fair, milk goes in first when making a coffee, though. So.
Yes, agreed. That's only so you don't burn it all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we know our stuff. Brad didn't know that. Brad's been putting milk in after water in
He's
coffee.
a fucking idiot, isn't he?
Wow.
Water in, then the tea bag. No. Actually, talking about drinks, hot drinks, and breakfasts and things like that. Have you boys seen the Magic Mahomes Crunch yet?
Oh, is this the
cereal
that everyone's like,
Yeah.
Oh, look, I've got a box. And I'm like, great, that's not going to be worth anything.
People are going nuts for it. They're going absolutely crazy for it. And
people are insane, though. That's
well, yeah, there is that as well. But eBay, have you noticed eBay at the minute? Have you just typed in Mahomes Magic Crunch?
No,
I don't want to.
There's a guy selling 12 boxes on there for $318.
I mean, how much is it to buy one?
About $4 or something, $3.
So why would anyone buy it on eBay?
Because they're only being sold in something like Kansas City or something.
Oh, so they're limited edition?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But if you live in Kansas City, and I'm assuming it's only people in Kansas City that are going to want this, you can buy it in the stores.
You say that, Dave. The person that we are on this podcast with absolutely wants a box of that cereal. You know that.
Yeah, but he's an idiot, so it's fine.
But anyways, this is what happens. This is what happens when you go 33 years in between drafting a first-round quarterback. And when said first-round quarterback turns out to be pretty good, the whole world and the whole Chiefs Kingdom just goes absolutely mental.
We're not used to this, are we? We're not used to a franchise quarterback, our own. So I can understand where this Mahomes Mania has come from.
Well, Mahomes Mania is hitting over here as well.
Box of cereal.
It is.
A box of cereal. Like, I get the Mahomes hype, but a box of cereal.
It's got Mahomes on the front. You're not understanding any of this, Dave.
After all, Dave, they're great.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
That's terrible.
See, and this is why you're T-Boy now.
They're great.
I'm sorry.
Tony the Tiger throwing it in there.
Brad, you don't need to explain the joke to everyone.
Everybody understands the joke.
They didn't know.
Of course they did.
No, they didn't know.
Who doesn't understand the Tony the Tiger joke? Everybody knows that.
Can you get Frosties in America?
But I'm sure Tony the Tiger exists regardless, doesn't
You think he's American?
He's got an American accent. Of course he exists in America.
Yeah, but he's got like that faux American accent, hasn't he? Anyway, we're talking about Tony the Tiger here. Where are we getting this from?
Because you brought it up.
You ruined my joke. Or you felt the need to explain a joke that was pretty self-explanatory.
Did I mansplain
you're that person that, like, when anyone ever talks in a conversation, you're always, well, actually, I think you'll find.
Sorry for ruining the joke. I'm really sorry. But
no worries. Yeah. You're ruining the podcast now.
I am ruining the podcast because we've talked about 4 minutes about breakfast.
His ego's a bit inflated at the minute.
Is it because of this? Is it because of this clip earlier today?
Bring out the Chiefs wide receivers and their 40 times, guys. I think it's the fastest in history. Chiefs fans on Twitter call this the Legion of Zoom. Oh, I like that.
Oh, I've made it. That's it.
Good Morning Football. That was on.
Yeah.
That was Carl Brand on Good Morning Football this morning, using your nickname, Brad, to describe the Chiefs wide receivers. How do you feel?
I don't know how I should say this, but
What's going to be longer, a Hall of Fame speech or your speech now?
Yeah. I want to thank. Yeah, I must admit, my mind was blown when I was sat at work and somebody linked me that that clip. I think it was Corey that sent me that clip, and I thought, oh my god, this is actually a thing now.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, he's going to be like sat at work going, guys, listen to this, and everyone's just like, what?
I said that.
Who are these people?
I don't like what you're on about.
I don't care. What are they talking about? They all sound stupid. Let's go back to normal things.
But
like Newcastle football.
Yeah, but you're implying that Brad actually has friends at work now. So
Jesus. Wow.
Well, you know.
He is the joke ruiner.
I can buy my own friends now, can't I?
You can. Have you
my
told
fame and fortune?
How many times have you mentioned it to your wife since you've been home from work?
I haven't, actually. Because if I mention anything like that, it's like it just shuts off. You know when you're like watching the football yourself and you just shut off from the whole entire world.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife does the same thing.
Sorry, what were you saying, Brad? I just shut off for a second. What were you saying?
Brad, if you didn't understand, Dave was actually pretending to do what your wife actually does. That was the joke that he was going for there.
Yeah. See, he explained the joke, Brad. Do you see how much less funny it is? I don't even know how I said that, but I said it weird. But do you know how much less funny that is when he explains it?
Can we get on to like how good I look and how good I feel at the minute?
How good you look? That's a very short conversation, now, isn't it?
Yes, it is a big deal for me, and I'm over the moon that it is being accepted and mentioned on Good Morning Football.
Well, congrats, Brad.
To be fair, Good Morning Football does have the biggest Mahomes fanboy in Peter Schrager, so
yeah,
I think we're in luck there as well. To be honest,
yeah, I'm quite happy about that. But anyway, let's get on to more important things. Did you guys watch the Hall of Fame ceremony?
No.
Clips.
No.
I've
seen like Tony G and Ed Reed being inducted, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because that thing is way too long.
It is a bit long.
Way too long.
Yeah. I tried getting through Tony Gonzalez's whole speech, and I got about 20 minutes into it, and he was still thanking people.
It's like if the Oscars were even longer than they already are, and yet it had a load of people on it that nobody knows at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, Johnny Robinson's was pretty good. He did a pre-recorded one, and that's probably the way that they should probably do it, really. He unveiled the bust, and then they played a video.
Probably past his bedtime.
Well, yeah, it's probably that, yeah.
I just think it's one of those, they should just show, like, a short clip, like, have the unveil the bust, give them the jacket, let him say a few quick thank yous, and that be that.
Yeah.
Have, like, a separate event, either, like, the night before, or whatever, or the night after, where they have like a sit down, like, you know, ticketed event. People can come have dinner, and people can do the, you know, the whole listen to stories from players and that kind of thing, and just speed up the actual induction ceremony so that people don't fall asleep. Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, we did actually have a question, because this is actually a mailbag show that we're doing this time. But we did actually have a question that suits this, because we're talking about the Hall of Fame. But Nita Davis has mentioned that they told us this weekend that they attended, obviously, the Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony, that this time it was way down in numbers because none of the inductees has or had a national following. So
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that.
I was going to say, I mean, Ed Reed.
You got Tony G and Ed Reed there. Two of
Champ Bailey.
Yeah, the bigger names in recent years, I would have thought. Like
Gil Brandt as well, he's like highly respected.
Yeah.
As well.
I just think, honestly, it's the length of the...
You could be right.
The actual induction ceremony itself, it's just so long and so drawn out. You just need to speed it up a little bit and liven it up a little bit.
Especially when you do it over a 3 day. So you've got the game on the Thursday, they get the jackets on the Friday, then they have their speeches in the busts on the Saturday. It doesn't need to be a 3 day event, or if it is, all the events need to be a bit shorter.
Yeah. I say you could combine the jacket and the bus and do a little speech, have that in one show, speed it up, and then have the game on a separate night with maybe like a, sort of sit downy thing before that or after that or whatever you want to do. But yeah, it just feels like they could speed that up a little bit.
Tony Gonzalez referred to it in his beginning of his speech, basically saying it looks as though it was thinning out at the back of the hall where he was doing the speech. So yeah, I mean, he was on towards the end. So yeah, you might be right. People probably thought it was a long day, had enough, and just wanted to get off.
Especially if they've seen like the person that they want to see getting inducted. Like, there's probably fans of certain teams that. I mean, it's a bit of a weird one because Tony G's probably the greatest of all time at his position. So you would think he's one that people would stick around for, but then again, it just shows how I think that it is too long if people won't even stick around to watch Tony G get inducted.
Well, it does lead us on to our first question that obviously when I was reading out Nita's mention there, her comment there, she's put on at the bottom, other than Mahomes, are there any other Chiefs that could be inducted into the Hall of Fame that we feel that could be in the future?
So are we going with former players, current players, or
former Chiefs?
Former Chiefs. Okay.
Who do you think will be inducted in the future? Jamal Charles, good shout. Yeah.
Maybe, not a guarantee, just because he missed time. The longevity's not there, like necessarily as some of the guys that are in the Hall, but he is the all-time leader in yards per carry.
Yeah.
And has some crazy, ridiculous games thrown in there. The 4 touchdowns against the Raiders, receiving touchdowns, the 259-yard game against the Broncos, the crazy long touchdown against the Saints. There's a few, and just some of the other runs. Like, he made highlight plays, and combine that with his yards per carry average, I think that might be enough just to squeeze in.
It's just a shame he played on so many bad teams. That is gonna go against him because he never played in a winning playoff game. He didn't play on many winning teams. He was the backbone of the Chiefs' entire team for a little while. He did carry them completely on his back, but even then, those teams weren't especially great. So I think that will go against him. A Chief, I think, is destined to be in the Hall next year. Due to the fact that they are toying with the possibility of increasing the amount of inductees next year because it's the 100th season of the NFL and it'll be the 100th induction or something. So they're toying with the idea of increasing it to 20 inductees next year, which is obviously a lot more than normal, and increasing the amount of seniors that they put in from 2 to 10 for next year. And this is a great idea for me because it means they can clear the backlog because they've got so many guys on the senior list that people feel that should be in the Hall of Fame. And if they can increase it for 1 year, that's an extra 8 guys they get to go in, and that's when I think the Hall will put Otis Taylor in there, because Otis Taylor, one of the greatest wide receivers of the early AFL NFL days, and I think he deserves a spot in there. He's obviously overdue, the Chiefs. He's long overdue, and I think he will probably be in next year.
Right, okay. Well, yeah, completely agree with you, Otis Taylor, and I would say Jamal Charles. I'm a big Jamal Charles fanboy anyway. But
as for current Chiefs, I think Kelsey's probably the next one.
We're going on current Chiefs now.
Kelsey or Mitchell Schwartz, I would have thought probably. I think Schwartz is a shoe-in.
Tyreek Hill.
It'll be interesting whether the off-the-field stuff has any effect. If there's nothing else happens between now and the end of his career and he carries on his current trajectory, then I'd say there's no way he doesn't make it. But I'd still feel probably a bit 50-50 right now with regards to Hill.
And I think because the league is so heavy at wide receiver at the moment. You've got so many guys in there that at the top, you could probably name about 11, 12 top wide receivers. Tyreek Hill's going to have to find a way to separate him from the rest of them. Obviously, he's got his special teams plays that he can lean on, but I think he's going to have to lead the Chiefs to a couple of Super Bowl wins or 3 rather to stand a chance to get in there, because at the moment you could tie him in with the likes of, I don't know, OBJ, then Devontae Adams, all these guys that are great wide receivers, but none of them actually separate themselves at the very top. So unless he finds a way to do that, I don't think he's going to get in.
Yeah, okay. Next question is from Ben Green. Tano Passanio is seeing some rotation with the ones in practice. Is this a case of Spags thinking surely we can use his athletic gift some way, shape or form and just throwing him in there to have a look, or do you think he actually has a shot of getting more playing time this year?
Well, if you follow Chiefs camp on social media, then everyone is really high on Tano Passanio this year. Then really, really high on him. But then I went back and had a look at tweets and stories from last year's camp, and everyone was really high on him last year as well.
Right.
And he played a bit part role, if that.
Maybe
Bob
everyone's
Sansky.
just really high.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
It's not Denver.
I think the Chiefs are going to carry a lot of defensive linemen because the defense is so bad on the back end and everywhere else. I think that the Chiefs' strength is in the D-line and the rotation of that D-line, so they're going to try and take as many guys as possible. So I think Passanio makes the roster. In what position and where on the depth chart, I'm not too sure, because you'd probably say that Okafor and Frank Clark are your guys, and then you've got a few guys behind them as well. So he might be the second string D end, he might be third string D end, but I do think he makes the roster. And he's an intriguing prospect, isn't he? He's huge, he's extremely long. Don't say anything rude, Dave.
I do not know what you're talking about. I had nothing but.
But he also fits the scheme, though, doesn't he?
He was a 4-3 end in college, so that helps him out straight away.
Exactly. I like I said, I like Passanio. I've always liked him, but I hope this time he gets his chance. I really do, and especially with the recent injuries with is it Okafor and Ogba? Mm-hmm. He might see more reps, so
yeah,
probably have a good look at him, won't we?
We're definitely going to get a good look at him this weekend for sure.
Good. Connor Kelly's asking a question. A lot is being written about wide receiver depth and who will make the cut, but very little is being said about our shallowness at the tight end position behind Kelsey. Is there any movement likely there, or will we enter the season without a clear number 2 injury insurance? Dave?
I think we'll stick where we are.
You think?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
It's Bell, isn't it? Is it Blake Bell who's our current number 2?
No, I think Yelder was released as the number 2 tight end on the depth chart that was released yesterday. Yeah. Although a lot of people thought Bell would be number 2, but it seems like those two are sort of seem like the favourites to take the 2 and 3 spots on the roster, because I think we will carry 3 guys. It's what we usually do. Obviously, I think with a guy like, is it Lovett, can potentially be practice squad candidate if they want to keep him around. So, yeah, I think those two look like the guys that are sort of going to stick around. And I say, with the weapons you have at wide receiver, I think that it becomes less of a pressing need at tight end now. I think you'll see Reed spread teams out a lot more this year going forward. You'll see a lot more sort of, I guess 4 receiver sets, even though you'd probably include Kelsey as one of those 4 receivers, but spread out 4 wide, and attack teams with speed. So yeah, I don't think it's as necessarily a bigger deal as it might have been previously.
Yeah.
So this is where I see the Chiefs only taking 2 tight ends going into the season, for the exact reason you just mentioned, the wide receivers. And I do feel like Reed is going to do exactly what you said and trying to use his wide receivers as much as possible. So obviously, if you have an extra tight end, you need to take away from a position, or it's a position you not going to give to another. So I think the Chiefs will probably want to carry 4 backs and make possibly 7 wide receivers. And if you're going to carry 7 wide receivers, something needs to be taken elsewhere.
I can't see us carrying 7 wide receivers.
But the group's so much deeper than it is tight end. There's so much more quality in the wide receiver group than there is.
You've got practice squad candidates there. It's not like, a guy can't go, on the practice squad. I just think, I don't think the Chiefs would want to short themselves in a position where if one of the 2 guys went down, they're relying on one tight end. I don't see Reid doing that, especially because he likes to use his 2 tight end sets. He'll still like to use his 2 tight end sets, and I can't see him rolling in to a season with only 2 tight ends.
Reid is in this unusual position of having really talented wide receiver core though at the moment, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So he could, like you say, he could be tempted to take a little more.
The thing is, I can see him potentially with the guys they've got on the offensive line. You've got Irving, who's the swing tackle from the looks of things. You've got a guy like Allegretti that can play 2 positions. I could potentially see them going one shorter on the O-line because, as I say, you've got practice squad candidates who can be pulled up from the practice squad on the O-line if needs be. Potentially to take one less guy there and keep the other guys. But it will be interesting to see how they sort of do it. And I think obviously with running a 4-3 this year, you're not going to carry as many linebackers, maybe a couple of an extra D lineman, but again we've got guys there that can play multiple positions. They've like Speaks, they've played outside and inside, and a couple of others. So I just think with the flexibility we have elsewhere, I don't think they'll look to make sacrifices at tight end.
The other question we've got is from Sam. His Twitter handle is @Wichita Chief Sam. This is for Tom, actually. What would you prefer right now? Trying to see if we can play 3 natural cornerbacks, Fuller, Breland, Ward, and another, and 2 natural safeties to start, or testing out one of those 2 safeties at cornerback, having Matthew and Thornhill both have good experience at corner, and Matthew especially did well in that area, apparently. And possibly slotting in Armani Watts, Daniel Sorensen, or Jordan Lucas into the second safety.
I think it's funny that you got me to answer this question, considering Dave is the
he is the veteran, he is actually,
veteran safety for the Manchester Titans. But I'll give you my opinion on it anyway.
Dave will give his expert opinion in a minute once you've trashed all over it.
I'll give you my opinion anyway. No, I don't think it's a viable option. The strength of this team is going to be in its safety play on the back end, with Juwan Thornhill. He's corrected everyone. He's come out and corrected everyone on Twitter and said his name is Juwan.
Juwan, is it?
Not Juan. So it's Juwan Thornhill.
I can't do anything with Juwan though, can we?
Yeah, no, you can't. So it's Juwan Thornhill.
Do you want to be my guy?
Oh my god,
that's going to be my fantasy name. Fantasy football, Brad.
Yeah.
And also the name he uses on a Saturday night when he goes out.
Juwan.
Anyways,
go on.
Back to Joanne. So Thornhill and Matthew will be the guys at safety, and I think they know they've got an excellent pair in there, and they won't want to break that up. Yes, Matthew has played in slot corner before, but he's played everywhere on the defense, it seems. But that's not his strength. You want him playing in and around the box as safety, and let Thornhill patrol the back end, and then. With corner, yes, we are in a bit of a hole. Kendall Fuller hasn't had the best of camps. Travis Ward's been okay, same with Breland, but I would much rather keep Matthew and Thornhill in their correct positions and let them be the strength, and then try to cover for the other holes, not necessarily make safety weaker and not make corner that much stronger by putting in a guy that's meant to be a safety in a slot corner.
Right. We'll get the expert opinion now off Dave.
I'm in agreement. With Tom on that.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you don't make a strength a weakness just to make a weakness a sort of less of a weakness. It doesn't make sense to me. Matthew was brought in to be starting at safety, be that sort of leader on defense. And I think Jawan, has supposedly impressed quite a few people at camp, and I think, well, especially when you compare to last year, I think that centre field safety role was probably our weak point at the majority of the season. I think certainly was some bad corner play from a specific cornerback who shan't be named, or Orlando Scandrick.
Oh God, yeah.
But I think the corners were not helped a lot of the time last year by the poor safety play. And I think what people have got to remember as well about Chiefs camp is the Chiefs cornerbacks are going up against the Chiefs wide receivers.
Yeah.
Like, they would make probably most teams' cornerbacks look like they're having a bad camp, I would imagine.
Very true.
That is a tough assignment. Yeah. That's not, for anybody. And I say I don't put too much stock into it for veteran guys. That's my thing. Like, for me, camp's more of a guys on the bubble, rookies. You want to see them, show you something. But I never put too much stock into, okay, veterans not look too sharp. Come the season, if you're having those problems, then you start talking about it. I don't worry about that kind of stuff too much, because those guys have been around for a while now. They know what's expected of them, and they know where they need to be come week 1 of the season. They're not worried about the preseason game. The guys on the bubble, the rookies, this is their chance to show what they've got and put their names forward. And it's like the vets look at preseason like an annoyance more than anything else. It's get back in shape and obviously get back up to speed, but I don't think they put too much stock into performances right now.
Does Daniel Sorensen stay on this roster, Tom? Is that
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Coaches love him.
Changed from a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I do. It seems coaches just love him, and
big special teams guy. Dave Taub loves that guy, and once Dave Taub, loves a guy, I think Reed listens and finds a way to keep them. I think there's a few guys there that have been kept around. And the thing is, he's not a terrible defensive player either when he's not asked to play
too much
every down. Yeah, and that's the thing. You combine that with his special teams play, and that's what keeps him on the roster.
Yeah. Going on to the running backs now. Should Dave have this one? Yeah, let's get out Dave with this one.
Okay.
What level of concern?
Tell you what, Brad.
What?
Why don't you have this one?
I may have this one. All right, okay. Because you know which one's coming, don't you?
Ooh.
Corey Jones has asked, what level of concern should we have with Darwin Thompson being placed 4th on the depth chart?
Zilch.
No, I'm not concerned. No, I'm with you. I'm not concerned on it, because I think it is his rookie time, his rookie season, and he's just going to have to...
Rookie time.
It's rookie time. He's going to have to wait his turn. Carlos Hyde's clearly not going to move out of the way, and as soon as Damien Williams comes back from injury, he's been actually been said that he's going to be the RB1, isn't he, by Bieniemy. So yeah, I'm not too concerned. I think he's just going to bide his time, and hopefully he'll break in and get that number 3 spot.
He'll be on the roster, even if they're going to take 4. They're taking 4. They're taking 4. They're going to take the 4. They're going to take Sherman as well. They're going to carry the 5 in total. Darwin Thompson is going to be absolutely fine, and Andy Reid will find a way to get him on the field and manufacture touches for him, and then let his quickness and his small size and frame do the work. Yeah.
I look at it purely from the perspective of, because he's not an every down guy, that's why he's in the position that he's in at the minute. And probably, I'd say I would never look at the depth chart position for a guy like that, because it's kind of irrelevant. They're situational kind of players. He's not a 3-down running back in the NFL. And I say it's, they'll find a role for him and, try and take advantage of his skill set. But yeah, like I say, I just don't think depth chart position's important for a guy like that.
Go and have a look at see how Darren Sproles has been used in the past, Brad.
Yeah.
Because that's potentially how you might see Darwin Thompson being used.
That's how he'll look, mate.
Potentially, yeah.
So did you see Darren Lee smash through him at training
yeah.
camp?
I was going to say, I think
he proper went through him, didn't he?
Pass pro.
a good comparison for him might be Tariq Cohen.
Oh yeah, very true.
Chicago.
Very true.
In a similar kind of role.
Yeah.
Where early on Cohen didn't really get used much his first year. It wasn't till he had a couple of big returns and a couple of big plays, but his usage was quite low, and it wasn't until sort of late in the season that he sort of forced his way more into it, and I can see the same happening with Thompson this year.
Yeah. The next question we have is from Anders Serup, which is his Twitter handle is @AllChiefsDK. Mm-hmm. If you could trade for 3 players right now, who would it be? Compensation and contract aside.
Chris Harris, Jalen Ramsey, Patrick Peterson.
Really?
Jalen
Ramsey?
Yes, Brad.
He's
really?
insanely good. Yeah. I'd probably go Denzel Ward, JJ Watt, and
you can copy me, Dave. You can say one and the same.
Avery Williamson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
There's my 3.
There's your 3. I would go with Tom on that. Patrick Peterson.
I'm not going to lie, I don't even know who Avery Williamson is. That could be like a fake name for all I know.
They
could be chucking in to test us.
Smithston.
Avery Williamson is actually just a northern folk singer.
He's a linebacker for the Jets.
Okay, cool. Yeah, didn't have a clue. Not going to lie. Jamal Adams. No, we've got 2 good
Jamal
safeties.
Adams.
Yeah, I like him. No, we've got 2 good safeties. No, I'm sticking with my 3.
Do you know what? I was actually going to go over the safety, but as soon as you're saying that, no, we've got some good safeties. So I'd probably go with Joey Bosa as well.
Nice.
Joey Bosa, just to shore up that left side pass rush.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't need to generate that much pass rush, because if you had the 3 corners I had, it'd just be coverage sacks all the time.
Yeah.
To be honest, you'd be
Patrick
absolutely
Peterson's definitely on the list.
Yeah.
Where's Pat?
#Where's Pat?
Yeah, exactly. #unfinished business. Right, we got some. We got some funny ones here. Who's this? David8900. His Twitter handle is @Dave50Web. How much of a smug arsehole is Brit Chief being now that Legion of Zoom is making it into
right, we're not bringing this. We don't need to bring this up again, alright? We've talked about it. Let's move on.
He's also said, he is even bearable to... is he even bearable to be around?
We've moved on.
Alright, we've moved on from that. So you agree with him, I'm a smug
No, we've moved off. We've moved on. You've had enough airtime, Brad.
We even let you answer a question tonight. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's very kind of you, lads.
We played the video clip. Let it go.
Just leave it now. Just forget about it until Mitch Halter says
Just stop.
Shut up.
Stop.
Timothy Rowley's asked for...
We will replace you with Ryan Tracy.
That's inevitable anyway. That's inevitable anyway. I know you've already made the call, Dave. We've actually got a fantasy football question here, and I know.
Oh, wow.
I know.
What? Okay. Which kind of fantasy football? Are we talking like
Joanne?
Joanne, or who's going to top score in the Premier League this year?
Well, I've got a bit of a dilemma on this, but I'll get to it in a minute once I've asked Timothy Rowley's question. Timothy Rowley's asked, in terms of fantasy football, who's the ones to watch, who's the sleepers this year, and who to avoid?
Okay, I'll take the one to watch. You take the sleeper, and Dave will take the one to watch. Okay.
Wait, sorry. Say that again.
Say that again. Who's doing the avoid?
I'll take the. What was it again? I've forgotten.
You said one to watch twice. That's why I got confused.
I'll take the one to watch.
So there's
Brad
one to watch. Who's the sleeper?
You'll take that.
Yeah, and who to avoid?
And that's Dave's.
Is this league wide or for the Chiefs?
I would say league wide.
No, Chiefs.
Should we do
league wide and Chiefs? Okay.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's start with Chiefs first then.
Well, it's not one to. Okay, one to watch on the Chiefs. I'm taking this is the one you need to take if he's available. Travis Kelce, 100%.
What round?
Top of second, early third. Yeah.
You think he's going to last that long?
He goes pretty early.
PPR.
Kelce.
Yeah, in PPR.
And there's no Gronk this year.
I've seen him go in the first round of some drafts in PPR.
Maybe. Obviously, it doesn't help that the running back position has been so screwed on recently that there is only a few guys at the top of the running back, like
five guys,
Christian McCaffrey and Bell and a few select others, but
Kamara, Zeke,
Kelsey.
Barkley.
I normally go for Kelsey in the third. That's my strategy normally.
Yeah, I think if he's there in the second, you take him.
Really?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wow, I might have to up my strategy this time. Okay,
Sleeper.
I'm going to say Darwin Thompson.
There we go.
But I wouldn't actually select him in the draft. I would wait at the end, and then I would probably put him in with one of your worst picks or something like that, and just sneak him in there so that nobody's going to know about him. So just put him in at the end after the draft.
And then hope that he somehow you put him in your lineup the 1 week he does well.
I did it with Kareem Hunt, believe it or not, and it worked. So I'm hoping this is the similar thing. So hopefully that works. So who's the one to avoid, Dave?
The one to avoid
on the Chiefs
in Chiefs fantasy football? No one. There isn't anyone. Take your pick. Pick anyone.
I was going to say.
No, but seriously, I would say the one to avoid is probably Mecole Hardman. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people buy high on him because they see him coming into this offense and think he'll put up crazy numbers. But now Hill's there, and not missing any time. I think he'll get broken in slowly. And it's like I say, if you're doing a fantasy draft where you're drafting just for this season, I don't think he's worth much more than a late round pick. Last couple of rounds, if he's hanging around, because I just don't think there's too many guys that are going to get looks that he'll get any crazy numbers this year.
I think you're right there, because people are going to pick Hill and Watkins.
Well, you've got Hill, Kelsey, Watkins, who are going to get their looks. Demarcus Robinson's going to eat into Hardman's looks early on, at least. So I think for keeper leagues, by all means, but in sort of season, regular leagues, I think people need to temper their expectations for Hardman a bit.
Okay, should we do league wide?
Okay, we'll quickly run through this. My one is going to be Devontae Adams. That guy is going to have one hell of a year. And if not Devontae Adams, then definitely take Christian McCaffrey if you've got the number one pick, because Cam Newton is coming back from an injury. They're going to throw short all the time, and he is going to clean up this year.
Yeah? Can I do the avoid on this one?
You go for it.
Yeah, you can do,
the avoid, thank you. So, Dave...
you do the avoid.
Should I do the avoid first?
Yeah, you do your avoid, because I need to rethink.
We should have planned this before we actually...
we don't plan shows, Tom. Come on, Dave.
Wing it.
We'll wing it, wing it. I'm going for a controversial one. I'm going to say avoid Baker Mayfield.
Okay, let's move on.
Tom's like, oh my god, I can see you putting your hand in your face, mate.
I just don't get your hatred for Baker Mayfield.
I can just see all this hype going on, and he's got all these weapons and all this la-da-da-da-da, and he's just going to throw interceptions. He's going to throw interceptions. You
just say stuff, so when it eventually comes true, you can go, ha, I told you so.
Yeah, basically, if you throw enough shit, something's got to stick.
Exactly.
Right?
Got to have a little bit of controversy in there, and I think Baker Mayfield's got all this... Everything's going right for him in the off season at the minute, and I just.
Brad, did you actually watch a Browns game last year when he was playing?
Yeah,
they were a different team.
He is really, really freaking good.
I still think there'll be mistakes.
I think a lot of people. A ton of mistakes.
But to say he's going to be, I guess it depends on where your expectations are.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. Like, he's not going to come in and have a Mahomes type season.
No,
I don't think, because literally 3 quarterbacks in the history of the league have ever done that.
But you can't use Mahomes as the standard to hold everyone else against.
Yeah,
it's just impossible.
Exactly.
You can't do it.
And I say, I do think, obviously, he threw 27 touchdowns in, what was it, 11 games?
Something like that.
12 games, maybe. So, he probably would have been on pace for sort of 37, 38 touchdowns if he'd have played the full season. So, yeah, he's a very good young quarterback, and I think, don't go in expecting him to be a top tier QB1, but I'd certainly think he's at the bottom end of the QB1 sort of conversation with the potential to sort of rise up.
I think
as the season goes on.
People will probably get sucked into that and probably pick him quite high up. Actually,
I think it's one of those, like, if you've got a good backup behind him, because there'll, I think, inevitably be weeks and maybe matchups where he might struggle. But I think he's certainly someone that will have his big games as well.
Okay. Go on then, Dave. What's your
sleeper?
Your sleeper.
Not sure how much of a sleeper he is, but he's kind of a sleeper. David Montgomery, running back for the Chicago Bears. That guy is going to have a big year. He is, he's not going to be Barkley, because nobody's Saquon Barkley, but he's going to be the number one running back out of this year's rookie class, and in that Chicago offense, where they will try and protect Trubisky and not ask him to do too much. I think this guy could have a big year, and I would advocate taking him in the top 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Yes, hands down, my favourite for offensive Rookie of the Year.
Tip for a sleeper there, nice one. Okay.
Nice.
This next question actually links with something that Tom had contacted me and Dave about during the week. I think it was actually over the weekend, actually. Scott Noonan's asked, any of you have any tips on how to convince the better half that we need a holiday to Miami early February?
Well, Scotty boy.
You've been doing some digging, haven't you?
Yeah. I actually had a bit of spare time. It's unlike me to have spare time.
Yeah, no, he works so hard, does Tom. He works so hard.
I had a bit of spare time this weekend and decided to check out flight prices for London to Miami.
As you do.
Around
going to Miami.
Exactly. Good Big Willie style. Good album, by the way.
Yeah, great album.
Really good album.
I have actually got that album.
I once, when inebriated at a wedding once, I stole a microphone from the DJ, got him to put Getting Jiggy With It on and rap the whole thing.
Wow.
One of the low points of my life, I'm not going to lie.
I'd class that as a high point.
No, trust me, it really wasn't. But anyways, these flights, £285 at the moment return. You can get flights from London to Miami. That's the Friday to the Tuesday. I haven't.
You must have. £285 to Miami and back. I can't even get to London for that.
Well, exactly. Well, it's cheaper to fly to America these days. So yeah, £285. It's almost worth a punt, isn't it?
It is actually. Yeah.
Because
I was very tempted, I must admit.
If you wait until to see if they actually make it, you're probably looking at 3-4 times that amount. And I'm just sitting there thinking, shall I do it? And this is one of the Super Bowls where you will be able to convince your Mrs. Scott to come with you because it's in Miami. Like last year, I was going to go to the Super Bowl if they made it. I was going to go to Atlanta, but my girlfriend had no interest in coming along to Atlanta because what's in Atlanta? Where Miami, Florida, that's a different kettle of fish. You can certainly convince your Mrs. to go to Miami with you, Scott. So that's the way you do it. Cheap flights and Miami.
All you got to say, Tom, is it's Tom Child's stag do. That's all you've got to say. I can't let the lads down, love.
It's always Tom Child's stag do.
Exactly, yeah. We're going to use that a lot.
Really?
Yeah, Tom Child's stag do. Didn't he get married last year? No, not happened yet. He's having another stag do.
Different bride.
And the last question we've got is from Neil Swift. Any news on the venue for week 1?
Not yet, Neil.
Not yet, Neil.
It's coming.
Yeah.
We know it's going to be in London. We definitely haven't got any worries about that. We've got multiple venues to choose from. I'm just waiting out to hear from the last 2 people in regards to which one. Obviously, if all else fails, we will go back to the Hippodrome Casino because the Hippodrome Casino has been great to us in the past. But we wanted to see if we can try something new. So we're just waiting on 2 venues. I think we'll probably know 2 weeks before the meet, but it's going to be central London. There's no worries about that. We're not going to venture out too far from there, if at all. So yeah, central London, book your hotels, but your train tickets, whatever. The meet-up is 100% happening. As soon as we've got a concrete venue, I will let you all know via this podcast and varied social media, shall we say.
Well, Newcastle's the big one anyway, so you
it is.
Just spend your money on that.
Exactly.
That's what you're going to do. Right, I think that's all the questions. Unless, did you send me one just recently, Tom? It was a late one.
I did one. There was a late one. It just snuck in just as we were.
Snuck in.
Yeah, you know, like a Home Alone when they're just about to close the gate at the airport.
Just let one.
But the opposite happens instead. But yeah, so we've got one more question.
Yeah, okay. Craig Potter's asked, what is the easiest game this year and which is the hardest and why?
There are no easy games in the NFL, Brad.
19-0, my friend.
But probably the Raiders at home, because they'll suck again.
Yeah, the Raiders at home, because we always beat the Raiders at home.
Yeah.
And the hardest game, I'm going to say the Bears in week 16.
That is a toughie.
Not the Patriots?
No. The Bears in Chicago that time of year is going to be fun. It's going to be really fun.
It's going to be cold.
I'm pinpointing it as the game the Chiefs can seal the AFC number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. But Andy Reid versus Matt Nagy, Master versus Apprentice.
Yeah.
Prime time?
Prime time. I think that's going to be the tough game. That's going to be the one I'm probably most looking forward to as well.
Actually, didn't you say the easiest game could probably be Mahomes in the Dome?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Mahomes in a dome. We haven't seen that yet during the regular season. So, yeah, Mahomes in Detroit. But they've got a good defensive line. They haven't got a lot else, though. Yeah, no, yeah. I tell you what, I'm going to change my answer. Yeah, Detroit in week 4. That's going to be the easiest game.
The easiest one. Oh, right. Very good. Right. Oh, well, that's been fun, lads. I've enjoyed that.
Well, I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but yeah, it was okay.
God, honestly, you strive for perfection too much, my friend. Jesus, right. Actually, before we go, I just want to mention in other news, Raiders, we've been checking all the other things on, the AFC West rivals and things. Apparently, Antonio Brown is not in training as he's seeing a foot specialist. Have you seen that picture?
Oh my God, his feet look like they're about to fall off.
Yeah.
It's grim.
What's that stuff in Game of Thrones which Maura Jorman had?
Who? Sorry?
Whatever his name is.
Maura Jorman.
Oh,
Maura Jorman.
You mean that rock
Jorah Mormont.
Jorah Mormont, that's his name, yeah.
Yeah, he had grayscale.
That's grayscale. That's it.
That's what Antonio Brown looks like he's got on his feet. Yeah.
Oh, God, it's horrible.
So it's actually Jorah Mormont, is it?
So yeah, it is. Yeah. Maura Jorman.
And the other
Joanne.
And the other news from Broncos training camp is that Emmanuel Sanders, wide receiver, and Cortland Sutton, wide receiver, have actually been throwing hands at each other, which got very heated, and the teammates had to step in to break them apart.
Emmanuel Sanders is a dick.
Yeah, I get the impression that Emmanuel Sanders is a bit of a dick.
So looking forward to meeting the Broncos this year. Right, okay, lads. I think that's all we've got time for. So thanks to everyone for listening. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and I'm sure we'll do another mailbag one eventually, but we will be doing 2 shows a week because pre-season is now here this weekend, isn't it? So looking forward to it. So from one kingdom to another, we'll speak to you again soon.